everybody, and welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the daily show where we give you all of the latest news from the world of movies, plus a little bit of insight into what it all means. Joining us, as always, is AMC Movie News Editor-in-Chief, John Campea.
Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, coming to you live from right here at the AMC Movie News studios here in Burbank, California. And I just want to announce that I am starting a Kickstarter campaign to help Ashley Mova fix her sweater.
I like it like this, okay? Also, your AMC's Christian Harloff.
Yeah, no one's going to have that Kickstarter on. They're these people. Like, come on. Why would you?
Also here with sleeves is AMC's Mark Ellis.
Yeah, I have sleeves on because that wasn't part of our bet. She's wearing sweaters that fall off. She's wearing sleeveless AMC shirts. This is craziness.
Where's you? I want to see you in the tank top.
No, you don't.
You gotta get in the gym. Don't worry. By August, you're going to see the guns, kids.
By August. It's like cut slow motion Bill Conti scores. You're like training. Get your arms ready for
I got a couple cute little 6-shooters hiding underneath this.
Gross.
The cast for the upcoming live-action Beauty and the Beast continues to get bigger and more impressive. According to reports, actors Ewan McGregor and Stanley Tucci have come on board, joining Emma Watson, Dan Stevens, Luke Evans, Emma Thompson, Josh Gad, Kevin Kline, and Ian McKellen. McGregor is set to play Lumiere, the maitre d' who is transformed into a talking candlestick. Tucci will play a new character, a grand piano named Cadenza, who is described as a neurotic maestro. Beauty and the Beast is set to hit AMC theaters on March 17, 2017. Christian, do you like the addition of Ewan McGregor and Stanley Tucci to the cast of Beauty and the Beast?
I love it. This might be the best casting any movie has ever done. And I'm not even kidding. Like this, I've never heard consistent casting where we're just like, wow, that's better than that. That's better than that. It's like one of the best casted movies I've ever heard. And not just by star quality,
Exactly.
by pure talent, and because it fits the characters. Ewan McGregor is a great choice because of his singing background, because he is not a one-note actor. He could play Lumiere. He could play he could be suave and fun and be the one against Cogsworth, kind of telling him, relax, guy, let's have some fun with this. And then Stanley Tucci, yeah, put him in anything, man. Sure, I don't care. Like, he's great. You want to make him a new character? He's going to knock it out of the park. And I like the idea of a piano that's kind of is the one that starts the music. As the music starts, he's the guy who starts it off. So this is great. Bravo to the casting there. They really have nailed it. I have not had one bad thing to say about any one cast so far.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. This is great. And my one downside about this is that a fan about a week or two ago, after Ian McKellen was announced as Cogsworth, suggested Patrick Stewart as the mayor. And I was like, that would actually be pretty damn
Probably
cool.
couldn't do the French accent.
Oh yeah, Jean-Luc. That would have been really cool. But you're right. This is one of the best cast movies I can remember in ages. Now, not just in terms of star power, because we're going to talk about another movie coming up a little bit later here that's probably is going to wear that crown. But I mean, everything fits great. Every role we see in this fits great. And everybody seems to forget about Ewan McGregor in Moulin Rouge, which I just think is a magnificent film. And he was actually really so surprisingly good in it. So yeah, this just adds to my ever increasing and ever mounting excitement for this movie. Absolutely. So I agree.
This makes X-Men Days of Future Past look like phone booth. You know, I mean, they just keep adding, but this movie still has 2 years before it comes out. And this cast is amazing. Ewan McGregor is going to knock this out of the park. I still think the best casting in Beauty and the Beast is Josh Gad as Gaston's buddy.
That's such a great fit.
But every one of them, it's like, and Christian, you're absolutely right. Stanley Tucci, anytime he's in anything, maybe minus Transformers 4, he adds something to the production.
He did the best he could, though, in that movie.
I mean, everybody's trying as best they can with something like this, with a product like this. It's amazing that all these stars they seem so ready to jump into the Disney live action universe. I mean, who would have thought that? Then you start to have, even with something as like Maleficent, it's like, that was, and Cinderella comes out, and Cinderella's great, and you can see how a lot of stars just kind of want to contribute and have their names associated with a brand that is as big as I think what Disney live action films are going to be. So it's another big win.
And even with Maleficent and Alice in Wonderland, regardless, I mean, like I've been saying, they're 1 for 3 so far, but even with those movies, they still made a lot of money. Alice in Wonderland, not a great movie, made a lot of money.
Well, it looked so good.
It did. It did.
It was not that good.
No, it wasn't.
It looked so good.
And I'm on the opposite side. I thought Maleficent they went way too far away from the mythology. Cinderella went a little bit away. I hope Beauty and the Beast goes a little bit away. Like when they add new characters like Stanley Tucci's character, that's cool because like we just said, it could add to the story. As long as it's adding to the story and not taking away from the mythology, I'm good.
All right, what's next?
One of the stars of the upcoming DC film Batman vs. Superman, Henry Cavill, was recently asked if the new film could be considered a Man of Steel sequel. Cavill said the following: "I wouldn't call this a Superman sequel. This is Batman vs. Superman, so it's a separate entity altogether. It's introducing the Batman character and expanding upon the universe, which was kicked off by Man of Steel. Everything could change in the editing room, but as it stands, it's definitely an introduction to the character and ultimately an introduction to Justice League." John, what do you think of Cavill's comments?
These are perfect comments. He absolutely nailed it. Like, I remember when Batman versus Superman got announced, there was a lot of people that were complaining, this is supposed to be a Man of Steel sequel. No, it's not. Like, in as much as not Justice League, I'm sorry, that the Avengers was not a Captain America sequel. Justice League was not a Thor sequel. Winter Soldier was the Captain America sequel, and that just came later. And that's the way I think DC fans need to look at this particular incarnation of this, is that, okay, we had Man of Steel, now we have, the formation of the Justice League, because could kind of be called Justice League the beginning. Well, it's Dawn of Justice. So they're going to introduce a new character in this, and we are going to get a Man of Steel sequel. There's not one announced yet, but they did say they're going to do one. It's just not any particular date. There's going to be a Man of Steel sequel. So I think the people who are looking forward to this movie, who wanted this to be the Man of Steel sequel, they just need to get out of that mindset and understand this is a different story, same character, same timeline, everything, but this is a different story that doesn't focus on Superman. It's going to be about Superman and Batman together. But then look forward to your Superman sequel later. Anyway, Mark, how do you see it?
I'm thrilled with these comments because I didn't need a Man of Steel sequel as badly as I think that film needed more characters like what we're going to get. Not only Batman, but the rest of the Justice League. The only problem I have with those comments is that he says, now this all could change in the editing room. It's like, dude, shut up, okay? Because that totally means it's like, well, this is what they told us, but they could all change this in the editing room. I hope they don't change anything in the editing room, that's the way it goes. From the trailer that we saw, that's the movie that I want to see. My concern would be, now how much are you going to introduce everybody else in the Justice League? Because we've been hearing about all these other characters that are going to appear in this film. We got pretty much no mention of that from that teaser trailer that we saw. And again, that was just a teaser, but seeing Batman v Superman is good enough for an entire film for me. So how do we shoehorn all those other members of the Justice League in there without them clouding that picture of Batman versus Superman?
These are perfect comments. They're perfect comments because I think that what it was in the beginning, there was just confusion among the fans more than anything else.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, this is Batman v Superman. That's the sequel? Well, you're not even going to get much of a sequel. How much is Batman even going to be in it? Because it's a sequel. Now we got to find out more about Clark and his family and this. And by him saying this, it goes, we'll get the Man of Steel sequel eventually. That this just lets everyone know. I love the comments because, like he says, it's the beginning. That's the dawn of justice. It's the beginning of the Justice League, and we'll see. We know what's going to happen eventually. Batman and Superman, they're going to make up, and everything's going to be nice. But let's see how bad it's got to go before that happens, and all these different characters. We can't focus on Kal-El's story in this movie, and then the dawn of justice, the beginning of Justice League, because then it gets Spider-Man 2-ish. And you'll get too confusing. So I love that these were the comments. And as far as the editing room, no, you shut up. You don't tell Superman to shut up. But as far as those comments go in the editing room, it's just him covering his behind in case. Because
a lot can happen between now and 2016.
Yeah. So if someone in the editing room, or if Zack Snyder and Kevin Feige are like, well, let's actually play more that it is a sequel, and he goes, well, I didn't know. At least he said that, but it's not going to happen.
Now imagine this. And let me preface this by saying this is not my prediction at all. But imagine DC decided to throw a massive curveball, like a massive curveball. Okay, what was conspicuous by its absence in that big DC announcement? A Man of Steel 2. Mm-hmm. What if Batman kills this fool in Batman versus Superman? Not going to happen. Not going to happen. I'm just saying, what if like we all expect we know at the end, and Batman, Superman going to bro hug it out. It's like everything's good. But then at the end, nope. Batman pulls out a kryptonite shiv.
Yeah. Then they bring Debbie Downer from Saturday Night Live.
That would have been a great comment. It's like, this got all changed in the editing room. I could survive this movie.
All right, folks, we reached that part of the show for buy or sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Ashley's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down, and then those of us at the table are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Ashley, what do we got?
Producer Jerry Bruckheimer has just tweeted out our first look at Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow in the upcoming 5th installment of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Men Tell No Tales. Thrust into an all-new adventure, a down-on-his-luck Captain Jack Sparrow finds the winds of ill fortune blown even more strongly when deadly ghost pirates led by his old nemesis, the terrifying Captain Salazar, played by Javier Bardem, escape from the Devil's Triangle, determined to kill every pirate at sea, including him. Captain Jack's only hope of survival lies in seeking out this legendary Trident of Poseidon, a powerful artifact that bestows upon its possessor total control over the seas. Mark Barisal, the new picture of Captain Jack.
As much as I always want to sell these things, after a while, I'm going to buy this picture because it does look like the Pirates of the Caribbean that we like. I mean, the stories have gotten progressively less interesting to me anyway in the feature films. But when you show me that picture and you show me that it looks like Johnny Depp is committing to this character yet again, it's one of the crazy characters that he commits to that I think actually works, one of the rare ones that have worked in the last decade, if you're really keeping score. Then you mentioned Javier Bardem, and I'm like, that could be a lot of fun. I like the ghost pirate element of it. I think that's what works so well about the Pirates of the Caribbean, is that mythological, supernatural element to it. So as much as I hate the fact that I'm going to buy this, I'm going to buy Pirates of the Caribbean 5 from this picture.
Now, here's the thing, though. I remember when they said they're bringing Bill Nighy in. I'm thinking, well, then that's going to make it good. Nah. Then they said, we're bringing Ian McShane in. Well, that's going to make it good. Well, they're bringing Javier Bardem in. Maybe. We'll see. The jury's out. But I got to admit, look, I did not like Pirates of the Caribbean 2. I did not like Pirates of the Caribbean 3. I thought Pirates of the Caribbean 4 was the least abysmal of the 2, 3, and 4 of the sequels. I really liked the first one a lot. But I got to admit, when I see Johnny Depp dressed up as Captain Jack, it makes me happy. I don't know why. I can't explain it. And so I don't know that this movie's going to be any good or not, but I do know that I like the picture, so I got to give it a buy.
We have sold almost every time we've been talking about this movie
Yes.
because of 2, 3, and 4. Anytime it's brought up, it's like, oh, come on, who wants that? I'm with you guys. I buy the picture. It almost looks like really cool fan art. It's like someone who's a big, huge fan of Captain Jack. Well, watch what I do, and he puts. I'm like, oh, that's the movie they should make, and it's the movie they're making. So it would be negative on the side of being just to be negative to sell this thing, because it looks like Captain Jack. It looks like it could have been taken out of the first Pirates movie.
Yeah, it really does.
It really does. So that doesn't mean once it comes to life, we're not going again. But if we're talking about this picture, it's a buy.
All right, what's next?
Paramount Pictures has announced that production is officially underway on the new Adam McKay-directed movie, The Big Short, with a legitimate all-star cast, which includes Christian Bale, Steve Carell, Ryan Gosling, Brad Pitt, Marissa Tomei, and Melissa Leo, all of which have either won or been nominated for Academy Awards. Based on Michael Lewis's best-selling nonfiction book, The Big Short: Inside the Doomsday Machine, the movie tells the remarkable true story of the genius contrarian investors who, recognizing just how insane the housing bubble had become, figured out how to short the market prior to the financial collapse of 2008. Christian Barisal, the sounds of The Big Short.
Huge buy. And I'll tell you why I'm buying it so big. It's not, I mean, it's obviously partially because of this cast. It's because of Adam McKay. He is the one guy that has been directing comedies. And when he was rumored to direct Ant-Man, people were going nuts. The comedy guy, no. And then there's been rumors of him doing other Marvel films and stuff like, no, not that guy. This is him going, I've got skills and I'm going to show it. And I'm going to prove it that I've got skills, because look at who I'm working with. And once you see who I'm working with here, I'm going to knock it out of the park. You're hoping that he's going to knock it out of the park. But the fact that he's taking this on as a director shows that he's not staying in just his comedy bubble. Now, this absolutely could have comedy elements to it. I don't know. But as a pure comedy, it's Adam McKay going away from that. That I love. And then add to it, we talked about Steve Carell yesterday, the new choices that he's making and things that he's doing. He's not pigeonholed in that pure comedy role, elements of drama and comedy. And Brad Pitt, Melissa Leo. I mean, this is an all-star cast, man. Marissa Tomei, everyone involved. Ryan Gosling. This is something that's very exciting to me. And the housing, all of that, to put such a topical conversation there, see how these people deal with that. Yeah, big buy.
Yeah, this might be as far as pure A-list star power, this might be the biggest film ever made as far as just pure big A-list star power. And even the minor stars in this. Oh yeah, and also is Melissa Leo and Marissa Tomei. Oh, by the way, they happen to have Oscars on their mantles, and they're the small fish in this. This is crazy. And when you bring up Adam McKay, that is the fascinating name to me, because when you add Adam McKay as the director, what that does to me is it shifts a little bit on how I even look at the cast. Because you realize, well, Steve Carell's in there, and he's a comedic genius. We've seen Brad Pitt do comedy. We know Ryan Gosling can do comedy. We know Marissa Tomei can do comedy. I've never really seen Christian Bale pull off really good comedy, but hey, he's a great actor. I'm sure he can probably wrap that into his repertoire, especially with this cast working around him. It changes the whole perception of what this movie can be. I don't know that, I no longer think this is just going to be a straight Wall Street kind of drama. I think this is going to be a little bit of this and a little bit of that, you know? And I think that could end up with a cast like this being really interesting to see. So for that alone, I got to buy it.
Yeah, I'm going to buy it too. Fun fact, everybody in this movie is also going to be in Beauty and the Beast in a couple of years. So keep an eye on that. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of comedy in this. I don't think it's going to quite get to the level of Wolf of Wall Street comedy where it's so crazy and madcap. You have to stay a little bit closer to the facts, but it's such a ripe story for comedy when you have this small group of investors who are betting against the CDO and they're going against the grain. And it's like, there's obviously the dramatic elements because people are going to lose their jobs and a lot of bad things are going to happen. But I think there's going to be a real dramedy spin to this. And Adam McKay doing it, even with all this star power with Brad Pitt and Carell and Christian Bale and Marissa Tomei and Melissa Leo, all of them are in the movie, and that's awesome. The fact that Adam McKay is directing a story like this is the most intriguing part of it. I'm buying everything.
All right, what's next?
As many of you know, a new Star Trek movie is on the way, and it appears we might have a new title for it. According to various reports, Paramount Pictures has registered the name Star Trek Beyond with the Motion Picture Association of America. The third installment of the Star Trek franchise is set to hit AMC theaters on July 8th, 2016. John, do you buy or sell that Star Trek Beyond will be the official title of the new Star Trek movie?
I sell it. Even though I don't mind the title, if that ends up being the title, I will be happy with it, especially when you consider that Simon Pegg, who's now one of the writers on this film, has said that this is going to kind of go to the spiritual roots of Star Trek, where this one's going to be more of an exploration movie, where they're going where no one has gone before. And if you take that in consideration, the title Star Trek Beyond really fits. However, we have heard this thousands of times where, hey, that movie we know is coming out, they just registered this title, and it rarely ever works out to be that title. So while I'm totally cool with it, if it does end up being the title, at this point, if I had to put money on it, I'm guessing it's going to be something else, so I'm going to sell it.
All right, I'll put $1 on it. I'm feeling lucky. I'll buy that this is the title of the movie if Buzz Lightyear is writing the script. I mean, it sounds like the perfect title for it, though, doesn't it? I mean, I think none of us would be upset if Star Trek Beyond was the title, because again, when you are the third movie in this new rebooted franchise, you have to seem like you're doing something more. You're doing something different. I think this would be the correct title. There's 1,000 titles that they could name this movie and make it cool. It's hard to screw up the title of a science fiction film. Just get me in the door. That's all I need the title to do. This is very vague. You have no idea what's going on. Is Idris Elba, is he going to be playing a Klingon in this? Nothing from that will be hinted at in the title. So I think that they're going to keep it somewhere like in space beyond something, somewhere around there, but it might not be this exactly. I'm still going to bet you $1 that yes, it is Star Trek Beyond.
Christian,
can I buy that Beyond will be in the title?
Oh, that's an interesting.
Yeah. I'm hedging my bets, but I think that I'll buy it as well too. And I agree actually with both you guys. I think all your points as far as when Into Darkness ended, it was saying, hey, we're going exploring now what this whole movie's all about. And then, like you said, Simon Pegg pretty much said the same thing. It makes sense, and because it's so vague, you don't need it to. You could release it early. That's what it's going to be called, because it'd be too hard to guess what it's all about. All you need to know is go, oh, Beyond. They're going to go exploring. So I actually think that it helps as where when you if you would have called the second one Wrath of Khan, Beginning of Khan, Here Comes Khan, like then people start going, wait,
I want that title
Here
now.
Comes Khan. But if you do that, it's hard. Then the speculation comes. So I understand why they have to kind of change it around Into Darkness and all. But as far as Beyond goes, I kind of like it. I think that it's simple. I think that I really dig the title. I do think that it's going to be released, that this will be the title of the movie. I don't know why.
It's catchy.
Yeah, it's catchy.
I remember Simon Pegg talking about the titling of Star Trek. This was, I think, before the second one came out. And he said, but let's face it, it's Star Trek. We can call this thing anything. We can call it Star Trek Pursuit of Booty, and it'll do great. It's like, well, maybe, Simon, maybe.
Look at the title of every Star Trek movie ever made. It all sounds like a great movie. Star Trek Generation sounds awesome. Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country,
First Contact
sounds awesome. Yeah, it all sounds great. Now, is it actually great? I don't know, but it's not that hard to title a science fiction movie cool.
All right, folks, listen, before we get into Mailbag, I want to remind you that the new Marvel film, Avengers Age of Ultron, opens in AMC theaters everywhere on April 1st, or March 1st, it's May 1st. I've only got 9 more months to run through.
You've already seen it, so you're just mailing
through
this in
3.
now.
Now I'm just mailing it in on May 1st. Now, I recently had a chance to go and sit down and talk with the cast of of Marvel's The Avengers, and I wanted to share some of that with you. So right now, here's a little clip of my conversation with Robert Downey Jr., of course, who plays Iron Man. Check it out. Congratulations on the film. This is your sixth appearance. Sixth appearance.
I know what's on my mind just because you said it.
And I feel like every time you tweak this character a little bit, and I felt like in this one, this was the most unique Tony you've given us, that wall between his bravado and his insecurities were thinner now more than ever. Who is the Tony Stark you wanted the audiences in this Avengers movie to come away with?
Kind of like you said, I just want to keep showing different sides. Joss and the Marvel team really crafted this take on it, and I trust them. I'll always have feedback and stuff, but I knew from the beginning that this story was going to work. I knew it was hugely ambitious, and I knew it was going to be a real bitch to shoot. But I really believed in Joss's take on this.
Well, by far, my favorite scene in this movie, Chris Evans, the woodcutting scene. Wow. So much chemistry and tension, maybe a little bit of foreshadowing, some Civil War stuff. But what was it, when you guys looked at that scene, what did you feel think to yourself, we need to be able to do this for this scene to work? What was important in that scene?
We both had to be right. And also, for us, that was just another day on location, getting out of the trailers and going down and executing this thing. They're kind of like, great, so it's lunch? But, we know that we're invested every time we do it. If you'd think we were doing Chekhov. We really care. But you have to shoot it and let it go, and then you kind of wonder, I hope that fits in good. So getting that kind of feedback is really... it's a great confirmation.
Remember, Avengers Age of Ultron opens in AMC theaters everywhere on May the 1st. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for all of your theater, showtime, and of course, your movie ticket information. All right, folks, we reached that part of the show now for Mailbag. Listen, if you've got a topic or a question you'd like us to address on the show, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. So, Ashley, what's in the mailbag today?
Jubad Hussein writes, "Hey guys, love the show. Congratulations on your recent award. My question is regarding the change of the release date for Pan, which was done to avoid the crowded number of summer movies. Do you think that the general positive feedback to the latest Ant-Man trailer had anything to do with their decision? Do movie studios reassess their release date based upon the positive buzz surrounding competing movies? Thanks."
I'm sure it has happened in the scope of Hollywood history, but generally speaking, no. And let's remember, Pan didn't just move to avoid the crowded, spot that it was in, and it was in a crowded spot. There were also other advantages in things moving. By moving to October, they can release their film and have their premiere at the Toronto Film Festival, which is always a big thing for these guys to do. And it was just a more favorable time of the year for them as well. So I really don't think anything about Ant-Man. Look, they knew Ant-Man was opening on that date well in advance. They knew it's a Marvel film, so it's going to have tons of buzz. They knew that well in advance. So I really don't see Ant-Man having anything to do with them moving the dates. Christian, do you see it any differently?
No, I don't think that it's Ant-Man moving for sure. I pretty much agree with what you said there. And I think that we also don't know what kind of business Ant-Man's going to do. Right now, it's being a newer property. So I don't think Pan moving would be that. I think what we talked about yesterday, I think that they maybe looked at it and said, because putting it in October is not a bad date.
Not a bad date at all.
They just looked at, I think, personally, that they looked at it and said, this really isn't going to play as a summer movie. I think it might have slower beats. It might have more characters and more story, which I, again, said yesterday is not a bad thing. And it might just not have the energy and the vibe of a summer film. It might fit better in October. I really do believe that's the reason they moved it.
I think they're doing the same thing with this, which is what The Winter Soldier did with summer movies, and what Furious 7 is doing, where you know how they expand the summer now, and what Batman v Superman is going to kick off the summer next year in like March. So I think the same thing with those family movies that you get around the holidays is that Pan is just going to get in the front of that train. It's going to be the first movie you want to take your entire family to see, and that's coming out in October. So it will have to compete against some crappy horror film, I'm sure, but that's pretty much it before you get into all those other like the Hunger Games and Star Wars in December.
Well, that's a great point there, as far as maybe that they were looking at when they were going to move it, going, this is really playing the holidays, and then they go, no, let's not go to December, because maybe it would actually fit better in December around Christmas time, but.
Or Hunger Games for Thanksgiving.
Well, right, too, or either one of those holidays for sure. But right now, it's just you have two juggernauts in there to where you push back a little bit more. And the summer, like I said, I just don't think there's some movies that just play better in those holiday seasons. This seems like that would have been the one, but because of what it has there, let's go to October, see how that works.
All right, what's next?
Jordan Allen writes, "Hey guys, was just watching the Avengers AOU interviews, and John asked Kevin Feige how he manages to stay motivated and creative with the Marvel Universe. Well, I was wondering, do you guys ever get fatigued from bringing us the best damn movie-related show on the internet? I know you guys all love movies, etc., but do you ever wake up in the morning and feel like, damn, I could do with a good break from this?"
Well, it's funny because when you guys tune in and you see us, there you go. You guys tune in and you see us, and what you guys see is just us sitting at the table, laughing, having a good time, stuff like that. And we get together before the show starts, and we always hang out a little bit after the show starts. We go have lunch, all that. It's a good time. We love this job. We get to watch and talk about movies for a living. However, what a lot of people don't see the other side of it sometimes. Like yesterday, I was literally in the studio from like 6 a.m. till 10 p.m. last night. And, between screenings and other reviews we have to do and different places we need to be, we miss time with our families. We miss, it's dealing with budgets and dealing with facilities and dealing with the production schedules and there's actually a lot that goes on behind the scenes that can really take a toll on us. And every once in a while, we just need to step back and take a breather. Like before we moved into phase 3 and we moved into our new production studio, I started taking Fridays off. I just wasn't on AMC Movie Talk. I was just using that time to catch up on all the other work I was falling behind on. I'm going to get back to that eventually. So absolutely, it's not just all talking about movies and shaking hands of movie stars for everybody who sits at this table. How Ashley puts up with the rest of us, I have no idea.
Gosh, it's a job in itself.
All by itself. But absolutely, there are times when we'll just talk to each other like, I need a break. I need a break so bad. But anyway, Kirsten, you've been doing this for a long time. Like, how does it hit you? How do you stay motivated?
I hate all of you.
He literally will not speak to us off camera.
Don't look me in the eyes. It's like Natalie Portman on episode 1.
You can talk to him when the cameras start to roll.
Yeah,
that's
don't talk. Listen, it is a great job. It is a fun job. We are blessed and lucky to do what we do and are able to do it, but we're still human beings. So it does get, like, every once in a while, sure. Like if I know that I have a screening that I have to get to, and then I have to do a review, and because Thursdays are the big day for me. So like all this work kind of piling up, but then in my head I go, you're talking about movies. You get to talk about Star Wars, so it's not a like, it's just a natural tired. Like I get to cover Celebration from Thursday through Sunday. Was I dead tired on Sunday? Yeah. Would I do it again for another 2 or 3 weeks? Yes.
Absolutely. Speak for yourself, guys. I don't have really a family that cares about me. So I just get to watch movies. It's so awesome. I never get tired of watching movies because I always think about what else I could be doing in life right now.
True.
Like what else would my job be? And I when I'm not watching movies, I get to do stand-up. And when I'm not doing stand-up, I watch movies. So I have 2 of the 3 best jobs on planet Earth. I'm still waiting for that phone call to play center field for the Orioles. Other than that, I am so lucky to be doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, absolutely. This is we have the best job. As movie fans, we get to wake up, watch, and talk about movies all day. But just remember, behind all that too, there's a lot of hours that go into it, and it can get a little bit fatiguing, but that doesn't take away how awesome the job is. I'm sure even porn stars at some point need a little bit of a break. So anyway, folks.
Ashley, what's that like? Oh, no.
The comments.
What? What? She's got the...
I win in a competition of T-shirts, and now you're mad at me.
Christian's walked out. He's bitter about losing that T-shirt vote. He's so bitter.
The
guns are coming out this August. I really can't believe I said that.
We're now taking applications for Mark Ellis's job.
You know what? Me cutting the sleeves off of that shirt is going to be like Pan. I'm going to keep pushing the release date back until I actually get back in the gym.
I can just see the news headlines tomorrow morning. Comedian Mark Ellis found dead in parking lot of AMC Movie News. Traces of multicolor nail polish was found on his punctured skin.
He was wearing a weird beanie.
He had some glitter on his face.
His shirt was torn into a tank top. Anyway. All right, folks, not only do we like to take your questions via email, we love to take your questions via Twitter as well. I'm not sure I'm going to let Mark answer any of these, but you can tweet us anytime. Just tweet out your question with the hashtag AMC Movie Talk. So, Ashley, what is in our Twitter sphere?
Peter Rammeljack writes, "Hi, guys. Great show. When do you think we could expect some new official news or some plot of The Force Awakens?"
I actually don't think we're very far away from that at all. I wouldn't be surprised. When's D23?
August.
I wouldn't be surprised if we get it before D23. Actually, I'd probably be surprised if they did wait that long.
That'd be a while.
I'm actually gonna take a wild guess based on nothing. I'm gonna think within the next 4 weeks we're gonna get our first glimpse at a synopsis of some sorts. We just had Celebration. I'm a little bit surprised we didn't get one there. So I think they're going to give it a couple of weeks, and then we're going to get an announcement about a basic synopsis that won't give much away, but it'll give our something that we Star Wars fans can sink our teeth into a little bit. So I'm thinking soon. What do you think?
I think soon. I think, look, JJ and Kathleen Kennedy at that panel had also said, look, we're going to give you guys some more stuff. We're getting closer. You're going to keep getting tidbits as the months go on. And I think one of those will be a synopsis. Now, I don't necessarily think this is going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised. But I don't think it's going to happen if we got another trailer before Avengers, like one that they had already cut. Will it happen? Probably not, but I wouldn't be shocked, which would give a little bit more about what the story is all about.
That would be 3 trailers still 8 months out from the movie.
I know, and I don't think it's likely, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I want that to happen so bad.
But that would be awesome.
I think Comic-Con. Because I think it was strategic that you didn't get that Marvel is not doing anything, and now it's all DC. Disney still got a pretty big property in Star Wars to overtake it if they wanted to, and they could do a big trailer at Force Awakens and bring some of the cast out if they wanted to. Probably there was rumors that people thought maybe footage was going to be shown at Celebration. I wouldn't be surprised if they showed like one little clip at Comic-Con. So that's probably where it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, the plot details would come out December 18th. Like, I don't want to know anything about this movie until I'm actually in the theater sitting there watching it. But I think Disney's very smart when they put out their stuff. I think that something will happen at Comic-Con and something's going to happen at D23 because Disney, that is the Disney celebration. So you're definitely going to get something new that you never had before at D23. Maybe they'll do what Jurassic World did, which is where Jurassic World gave us a 1.5-minute clip. It's Chris Pratt and Ron Howard's daughter talking, and that's cool. And it's nothing really giving away too much. And then we got that other trailer that was awesome. Yeah. So maybe they show you a clip. It's just hard to imagine that they would do a panel at Comic-Con and not give something. Even though they want to save it for D23, I think you'll see something new at Comic-Con.
I think D23 is going to focus more on Rogue One. I think because they'll be already in production, they'll be shooting. You might get something little. Because remember when they did Guardians of the Galaxy 2 weeks in Guardians of the Galaxy, they had a lot of footage. They could put something together. I mean, they put that not silly. It was amazing, but that not actual footage together for Rogue One at Celebration. So I think you probably get a lot of Rogue One stuff, maybe some more Rebels news, all on those lines.
I don't think D23 is going to have much of an emphasis on Star Wars at all. Actually, I think.
You don't think Rogue One?
I think Disney is like, we just gave an entire thing just to Star Wars, and now we have 24 other films coming out between now and 2017 that we're going to give love to all of our Pixar films, all of our Disney proper films. They've got a lot of stuff.
Just
coming
them
out.
Walking the cast of Beauty and the Beast on a stage is going to take like 3 days. So
I think Civil War is going to be the star of D23. I think you're going to see, because that's not going to be too far.
Yeah,
far
Ant-Man
out.
will have already come out by then. So, all right, what's next?
Jake Crocker writes, "Good day. Could we end up seeing more films about other parts of Disneyland like Frontierland with the big Thunder Mountain Railroad?"
I mean, anything's possible. Look, they made a multi-billion-dollar movie franchise out of a ride with Pirates of the Caribbean. But remember, Tomorrowland isn't about Tomorrowland in Disneyland. That's not what it's about. It does take the namesake, obviously. So could they do more movies just based on the branding, just based on the namesake? Sure, they could. Disney's always looking to mine their intellectual properties to do stuff. I would have no doubt. I mean, the Matterhorn stuff. There's a movie you could make out of the Matterhorn ride right there. So it's absolutely possible they could do it. Mark,
yeah, you also have a Space Mountain. I mean, the teacups maybe not so much. Star Tours, they already kind of took care of that. The Haunted Mansion. If they make that good again, because they made one with Eddie Murphy. But if they make that could be a really neat ride turned into a movie. So I'd probably say Space Mountain or Matterhorn would be my top two that I would want to see.
I think it's absolutely possible. But the reason Disney is doing as well as it is because they're not just going, well, that property just did well. Make another movie. Just make a Space Mountain movie just to make it. They're not doing that. They're waiting for the takes of the directors and the writers to go, oh, well, that's interesting. Well, sure. Like John said, with the any way to further their property, and it's a good take. And when you have Del Toro come in and say, hey, I want to do a haunted house movie, yes. Yeah. Because he's not, because he probably had a good take with him and Ryan Gosling. If someone comes in with a cool Space Mountain pitch, like let's say Spielberg comes in tomorrow and says, hey, look, I was thinking about space. Sure, let's do it. I can absolutely see these things happening. I mean, the question is ever. So yes. Ever.
All right. And the last word of the day.
Darth Vanquish writes, in your opinion, what is the single greatest acting performance?
So I
think Ashley acting like she's not going to kill me as soon as this show ends. That's pretty good.
I've got the guns over there.
A couple pop to mind, but maybe if I sat down and really thought about it and wrote out a list, I come up with some different ones. A couple pop into mind. Meryl Streep in Sophie's Choice is one that will make you need to get therapy. It's like Marlon Brando in On the Waterfront. One of the single greatest performances ever. But the one that stands out to me the most, and it'll be curious to see if I still think this 10, 15 years from now, but is Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood. His performance in that was an all-timer. I mean, that was an instant Hall of Famer, that one. I'm always, every time I see that movie, I've probably seen it 5 or 6 times now, and every time I watch it, I am just astonished about what this guy can bring to the screen, and a little bit of sadness that he doesn't do more because he does so few movies, and maybe that's part of his brilliance. But those, Meryl Streep in Sophie's Choice, Marlon Brando in On the Waterfront, and Daniel Plainview in There Will Be Blood.
I'll go Daniel Day-Lewis, but I go My Left Foot.
Yeah, that's another great one.
I know sometimes people are just like, well, that's just how you go get an Oscar, play someone with special needs, and it's what Daniel Day-Lewis does, man. And the reason why he doesn't do as many movies as we would hope that he does is because he puts his whole life into it. He becomes that character. Like his wife is dealing with that character. She's not dealing with Daniel Day-Lewis one day at home. Like she lived with Lincoln for like a year. So it's like. That guy in general, you could really pick any of his performances and say that was the best. That was the best because you don't find actors like him to do what he does, the way he taps in. So I would say that because you just really believe every moment and every tragedy that guy went through Daniel Day-Lewis went through it too.
Yeah, I'm always tempted to say Tom Hanks in Castaway simply because he had nothing really to act against. The majority of that movie, it's just him and a volleyball. But I always go back to Robin Williams in Good Morning Vietnam because I think that's such a perfect marriage of his incredible comedic ability and his dramatic chops that people at that time hadn't gotten to see a lot of. That was I think the first time he was nominated for an Academy Award. And I've watched Good Morning Vietnam a lot in the last couple months, and it's just it's a flawless performance. It's so funny and it's so heartfelt. And I can't believe that one dude is that talented in that movie. Also, Robert Shaw in Jaws is.
He was great in that. Yeah. Okay, bonus points. Who did Robin Williams lose the Academy Award to that year?
That would be 87. So that would be.
Think of one of the few performances that could have beat him out.
87.
Michael Douglas.
Patrick Swayze, Dirty Dancing.
Michael Douglas in Wall Street.
Yeah, Michael Douglas.
That's
in Wall
another
Street.
one that's way up
good.
there. Yeah.
All right, folks, that'll do it for us for this installment of AMC Movie Talk. Thank you so much for joining us. Listen, don't forget, lots of great movies playing at AMC Theaters right now. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for all of your theater, showtime, and movie ticket information. If you want an audio-only version of this episode, look in the description of this video below, and you'll find a link to our podcast feed. And most importantly, guys, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Keep up to date on all the great new shows here in Phase 3 at AMC Movie News, including AMC Movie Talk, AMC Mailbag, AMC Jedi Council, which comes out tomorrow, AMC Heroes, which is just yesterday, Thursday, AMC Coming Soon, AMC Rewind, AMC Indie Spotlight. So many cool things to keep you in the loop on what's going on in the world of movies. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I want to thank, first of all, the guy sitting at the table in his final appearance with us here on AMC Movie News, Mr. Mark Ellis. Mark, any last words?
Well, it's a good thing I'm on a fly tomorrow to Erie, Pennsylvania. I'll be doing stand-up in Erie this weekend. Get tickets at markellislive.com. For all the latest updates, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at 5150Ellis.
Make sure you call your mom and say you love her. Mr. Christian Harloff. Christian, where can people find you?
I will be getting ready for Jedi Council tomorrow. Follow me at Christian Harloff, both on Twitter and Instagram, and keep submitting those questions. Hashtag AMC Jedi Council. We're going to recap all of Celebration. So much news. Make sure you come and check it out.
And our lovely and ever-composed host today, Miss Ashley Mova. Ashley, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Ashley Mova. Happy Wednesday, guys.
And you can just find me on all the various social media networks. Follow me on Twitter or on Facebook, just at John Campia. That'll do it for us, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. My name is John Campia for AMC Movie News. Until next time, bye-bye.